Morning guys, and welcome to another section of SketchUp. Now I'm just going to go over a few things that I possibly didn't mention in the last tutorial, and really just to show you the difference of why you sort of have to have such a high resolution when you set something up. Now this particular page is set up at the preset of 8000 by 6000, and this is set up at a much lower one of 400 by 800. I think I did it fine. And basically it's just to show you the difference. Now, same brush, size 10. Oh, I'm just going to put the opacity up to 100. So exactly the same brush, there's no difference. Now, I've got a Wacom tablet, just a Wacom Intuos. It's a very old one. I've never ever had to change the nib on the Wacom pen. I've never done it. I've never had to. It serves all purposes. I know you do get additional nibs in the box. I don't know what they're for. I'm sure somebody can sort of explain that to us, but I've never had to change it. I find that the one that came in there as a preset works for me anyway. But yeah, if we just draw just a simple line on there, you can see size 10, all sort of smooth, all lovely. And if we go in, it's not ever, pixelating. It's lovely and smooth there. Now, if I were to do exactly the same thing on this lower resolution, you can see it's a lot bigger, and without even scrolling in, you can see some of the sort of horrible pixelation that we've got going on here. It's not very nice at all. Obviously, if we scroll in here, this is what we don't want. It was just really just to explain to you that working in these much higher resolutions and sort of why it's worth doing it, to be honest. So yeah, if we go back to this one, and I'll just get rid of that for us now. Now, this was sort of going to focus on brushes. Brushes are obviously, once again, personal preference. I have a fantastic set by an artist on DeviantArt. It's Fox Orion. It's spelled like this. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but Google that, and you'll get to his webpage. You can see his or her amazing artwork, and also pick up his brushes. I've been using an old set that they had actually. I've went on there recently, and he's actually got a lovely new set. So I'm sort of getting to grips with the new set myself as well. So we sort of learn together on this one. But this is the basic that I use for a drawing, size 10. This is the Fox Orion's new set, and these are obviously, and you'll see from the web page that she actually sort of labels it. So number 1 is like drawing, 2, etc. 3 textures and things like that. So this is what I tend to use. I don't use them all. Number 10, 10 pixels, 100% is what I just tend to start drawing with, and you can, like before, it's a lovely crisp line. Where I've got the Wacom tablet, it automatically gives me these lovely sort of, where it goes off at the end, fades off and flicks off because of the opacity and everything. It's all set up. Let's tell you if I just go to brushes. You can see we've got smoothing, which is creating this lovely sort of, and the shape dynamics. It's just pen pressure. Okay, and that's just basically if I'm very light on it, it's not very dark. If I press really hard, it's very dark. It sort of works that way. And that's generally what I use to doodle, to draw, and that's what I use to ink as well, really. It's a fantastic, size 10 is a good size, but that's just for me. Now, airbrushes, I used to use these to colour, and it was a bad idea, until I was told by some brilliant artists at Tomb Raider forums, drop some names, it's sort of Quasimodo, Young Lara Croft, Tampy, Melanie, there's so many to mention, absolutely fantastic artists, but I used to colour with these, and I used to sort of layer on top and add different sort of sections, and that was completely wrong. It made it look fluffy, it didn't work. At the time I thought it was working, but it wasn't, and the best thing to do is to colour with a solid colour. Now I particularly use this one under level 4, under 30, and then you literally, any size you want, I'm just doing big brushes for examples. You can see, you do a lovely big size like this, and you can just layer colours over the top, It's absolutely beautiful. And then when you put other colours in, you can get a smooth tool and you just smudge it all out, and this works so much better, and you get so much, it's much more dynamic picture, much more depth. So stay away from these airbrushes when you're colouring. They do serve fantastic purposes, but just not if you're colouring like the skin tones, or you know, sort of clothes and creases in clothes and things. I mean, they're fantastic for, say, sky, or, you know, you wanted to have a haze effect or something like that. But once again, that's just my personal preference, so it's whatever suits you, really. All these other ones are just sort of little slightly different shape ones, so you could, if you're doing a particular style of drawing, you can have sort of, and sort of quite good for inking, that one as well, because you can see you get the different sort of here, you know, when you get like small bits under the chin and it gets larger around the arm or the side of the face. Now these are the new additions which I'm still using, but I think these are absolutely fantastic. This is for foliage, and this is just brilliant. I've sort of had a quick play of it this morning. I just want to show you how quickly we can just produce a little bush. It's absolutely brilliant. With art, it's suggestive. Okay, so if you're doing you are doing a bush, you're doing the leaves on a tree, you don't have to draw every leaf. Okay, a brush like this is absolutely superb for it, because what we can do, we can just change the colours and the opacities, and it's just so quick to just sort of be suggestive of you're suggesting, oh, here's a bush, basically. And it's absolutely brilliant. It takes like 2 seconds, because the brush has these beautiful textures, and it just creates this sort of beautiful look for you. And, you know, with the opacity at 55, every time I'm taking the nib off of the Wacom tablet, putting it back down, it's just making it a little bit darker around certain areas that we like. But this is you can see why this is a brilliant brush. This has taken like 2 seconds, and this is good use of the eyedropper tool here. You can pick on the colour that you've got, click on the tab, and you can see it's here. So it's like, okay, we want a cooler and lighter version of that colour. So we can just go up a bit. So we're not sticking any random colour on there. It's still in the same sort of colour palettes. And when I'm putting a lighter one on, I'm just going to reduce the opacity down a bit more, so it's not too bright. We're just suggesting that maybe the light's shining on a few of these leaves, and it's sort of in there. And you can see just in that, obviously it looks like a green mess at the moment because there's not anything else with it. If I were to go down to layer 1 and say add a bit of grass underneath here with the, you know, same brush, you can see it just adds these beautiful beautiful textures onto here for us. Okay, maybe a bit darker, and I'll turn my opacity up so we can do this a bit quicker. I know YouTube's got limits. Obviously this is being done very quickly, so it's not brilliant, but you know. And we sort of added a bit of sky in there, and there any sort of colour will do. Okay, probably shouldn't use this texture for sky. But you can sort of see, once it's in context with something, you know, it's just suggestive. We're suggesting that this bush is here. You know, we're not drawing out every single leaf. We're not, you know, taking ages to do something. Because that's the thing with art, it's just shapes. It's just shapes and colour and what our eyes want to see, for example. You know, we don't have to draw out every single thing. And you can see, just dabbing a bit of light and dark, and we've created this sort of funny looking bush, I must admit. But a bush nonetheless, just with this one paintbrush tool, this one setting here. So you can see sort of the things we can do, you know. And then, for example, if I was to go back to the number 10, drop it up to 100 again, maybe you pick, never put black on a picture, okay, never ever black on a picture. That flattens a picture. It's not really a colour, it's more of a shade. If you need a dark colour, okay, you click on the black and just go up ever so slightly, okay. And I don't know if you can see on YouTube, but this is just a slightly different colour, okay? It's, you just don't put black. And then we can just, you know, the cliche bird there that you used to draw at school. You know, just put, and you can just see the different things. If we just create like a tiny little picture just from using these different textures, so if we, you know, put a bit of a flower in there. I'm just bodging this, by the way. I haven't planned this, so I don't know what it's going to turn out like. But it's just, it just generates some beautiful imagery, and this is lovely. This tool here, you know, put a few flowers in there, and this is me doing nothing special. This is just literally the use of these amazing brushes. So I've closed my swatches and now I can't get back over. So yeah, you can just see what 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We generated a scene here with what, 2 brushes. So what I recommend, getting hold of these brushes by Foxorian. They're absolutely brilliant. Playing around with what suits you best. These 3 are the best for me. Number 10 for drawing. This lot are brilliant for foliage and plants. You could just play around with the whole lot. And also just play around with opacities. You know, for example, with the shading, I tend to use 30. This is the 3rd one along on number 4. Just because it has this lovely, it already generates the opacities for you. It just has this lovely, I'm not pressing any differently here. This is just, it generates this lovely look for you. And then if I wanted to shade this section, you know, it's doing it anyway. I don't have to apply anything else. So it sort of does some of the work for you, really. So I'd suggest sort of looking definitely into using that brush with shading, but that's just my personal preference. Again, you might want something completely different, but definitely download these, have a play along with these, and get used to how to using it. Now, obviously, I'm a Mac. I'm sure installing brushes on a PC is the same. You just download them. I think it's C, Windows, Photoshop. No, program files, sorry, Photoshop, sort of along that way. But with the Mac, it's literally just, you pop into your Finder, you pop into your applications, I believe, I may be wrong, pop into Photoshop, presets, and then you got brushes, and then you can literally just drag and drop what you've downloaded into here. And I believe we have her brushes here at the bottom, which you can download of Defiant Art. But you can see I've got some others here. Velvet Cat, you can search them. Sky and Water skin brushes. The skin's good for creating texture, but you can also do that with the noise preset. But obviously this is more advanced stuff that we can get into later on. But for now, download those brushes, have a play with them, see how you feel with them. And then after a while you'll get a hang of which ones are your favourites, and you just hold on to them, and you can start practicing. But yeah, you can create something like this in 2 minutes with a brilliant brush by Foxorian. So thanks very much, and I will start sort of learning how to sort of draw people and shapes and everything next time. And I know people are gagging for Lara Croft, so I will draw her and we will get used to drawing her all together. Okay, thanks guys. Cheers. Bye.